You know, the modern battlefield has expanded far beyond what we traditionally think of. We're not just talking about land, sea, and air anymore. The new domains of conflict, well, they're capital and information. And in this arena, the weapons are financial, the strikes are digital, and the fallout is measured in billions of dollars. So, this particular operation, it began with what you can only call overwhelming force. A $2 billion bet placed with clear strategic intent on the S&P 500 futures market. And make no mistake, this wasn't some kind of cautious hedge. No, this was a clear, directional assault. And the speed of this engagement, it was just incredible. I mean, the entire time from deployment to securing the objective was just 20 minutes. Think about that. A financial blitzkrieg, really, executed so fast that the broader market didn't even know what hit it. And the result? Objective achieved. A cool $100 million in profit. Now that's the kind of return that's, well, it's statistically almost impossible. It's the kind of efficiency that really makes you think that something more than just simple luck was involved here. Yeah, this wasn't just some random blip in the market. This was a maneuver carried out with the precision of a guided missile. A trade so perfectly timed, it just screams foreknowledge. It suggests that someone, somewhere, knew a major geopolitical event was about to unfold before anyone else did. So, what was the weapon system used here? It was a futures contract. This is a highly leveraged financial tool designed for one thing: maximum impact. So, by using futures, the operator was able to control a massive $2 billion position with just a fraction of that in actual capital. It was a bet made with extreme conviction that the market was about to shoot straight up. All right, so let's break down the mechanics of this shockwave. How could a single political announcement, really just a shift in military posture, set off such a profitable and, importantly, predictable market reaction? Understanding the sequence of events here is absolutely critical to grasping the strategy. Okay, so first you have the catalyst. The president announces he's calling off planned military strikes against Iran. Right away, that lowers the geopolitical risk. The threat of war goes down, so oil prices fall. Cheaper oil means lower inflation expectations, which gives the Fed more breathing room to keep interest rates low. And as you know, low interest rates are like rocket fuel for the stock market. It's a predictable and highly exploitable chain reaction. This timeline really lays out the whole engagement window. Just 5 minutes before the official announcement, that massive $2 billion position is put in place. Then, at time zero, the president makes a statement. And just 15 minutes after that, the market hits its peak, the position is closed out, and the profit is locked in. The timing wasn't just lucky, the timing was the operation.
So, this brings us to the crucial question: how is this even possible? Well, an intelligence assessment gives us 4 plausible theories, and they range from the simply impressive to the unethical, all the way to the deeply corrupt. We need to look at each one.
Really, all the possibilities boil down to 2 fundamental camps. On one side, you have brilliant analysis, totally legal, just using public info to outsmart the market. On the other side, you have insider information, the potentially illegal use of privileged, non-public knowledge to make a profit.
All right, let's start with theory number 1. This is the most innocent explanation: that this was simply a masterclass in financial analysis. The argument here is that some really sophisticated trader, or maybe a whole fund, just correctly read all the signs and acted with incredible conviction. So in this scenario, the trader would have analyzed all the public statements, monitored diplomatic channels, and just came to the conclusion that a de-escalation was the most likely outcome. So they placed a huge bet on it. You know, this is how a functioning market is supposed to work. It's incredibly impressive for sure, but it's not a scandal. Okay. Theory number 2. This one takes us into the murky gray zones of power, the places where information is the real currency and who you know is everything. We're talking about the world of informal, privileged networks that operate right on the edge of the law. Think about it. In Washington, D.C., you've got senior officials talking to consultants, lobbyists, old colleagues all the time. In these off-the-record chats, they share insights, context. It's not an official leak of classified info, but it's what they call valuable color. You get a sense of which way the wind is blowing. And that information can absolutely be used to make trading decisions. Legally, it's a real gray area. Ethically, well, it's pretty troubling.
Theory 3 is much more black and white. There's no gray area here. This theory suggests a deliberate, criminal act, a direct leak of classified government information for profit. Plain and simple.
So what we're talking about here is a senior official who knows the policy reversal is coming, and they deliberately leak that crucial non-public information to a trader. Like I said, this isn't a gray area. This is textbook securities fraud.
The problem is, it's incredibly hard to prove unless you have direct evidence, a wiretap, an email, someone willing to testify.
And that brings us to the fourth and final theory. And honestly, this one is the most disturbing of all. It suggests that the desire to make money from the market wasn't just a side effect of the policy decision, but maybe it was one of the reasons for the decision itself.
Okay, so picture this. A high-level decision maker knows exactly how their actions are going to move the market. So they, or maybe a friend, set up a financial position to cash in on it. This creates a really twisted incentive to make a decision based not on what's best for national security, but on what's going to make them rich. This is the point where public service dissolves into pure corruption.
Look, this one trade isn't some isolated incident. It's really a symptom of a much bigger strategic reality. It perfectly illustrates the systemic advantage that people who are close to power have over everyone else.
And what's worse is that this advantage creates a cycle that just feeds itself. Access to the right people gets you privileged information. That information is turned into huge profits. And then those profits are used as a resource to buy even more access, closing this loop of power and wealth that's basically impossible for an outsider to break into.
So, at the end of the day, figuring out who the single trader was is actually less important than understanding the environment that makes a trade like this possible in the first place. The real focus here shouldn't be on the individual soldier, but on the nature of the war itself. Because the real scandal here isn't just one suspicious trade. It's the fact that a system exists that makes these kinds of trades consistently profitable for a tiny group of people with access, while being completely impossible for everybody else. The whole game is rigged.
And that leaves us with one final, very big question. When a system is designed by the people who benefit from it, specifically to reinforce their own advantage, when the rules of the game are written to protect a hierarchy of information and power, who then has the power or even the will to rewrite them?